what is going on? She's just deleted her Twitter. She's getting called out because it was exposed, because an interview got I'm not joking when I say this. Something's gone weirdly wrong. Like, we literally hired a freaking Chronically Online.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw wasn't a random social media fail. It was the collapse of Sports Authority in real time. I'm Jax Riley, and what I've uncovered is nothing short of a revolution. The Indiana Fever president didn't quit Twitter because of backlash. She was outmaneuvered by the most organized fan intelligence operation in sports history. This wasn't spontaneous anger. It was a 9-month, premeditated attack. And here's the proof. Kelly Kroskoff made her Apple comment on October 9th, and exactly 9 months later, in July 2025, it suddenly went viral and forced her offline within hours. Strange timing. It should be.
That we want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and, we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country and, a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. I mean, this is...
That Apple metaphor comparing her team to a brand like Apple was the gunpowder, but ammunition doesn't fire itself. Someone had to pull the trigger, and that someone was a coordinated network of Caitlin Clark's followers who had been collecting intelligence, building influence, and waiting for the right moment to strike. By July 2025, the temperature was boiling. Sophie Cunningham had just launched her podcast, Protect Caitlin Clark. Messages were trending everywhere, and tensions inside the Fever were at a breaking point. These fan networks didn't stumble across the clip, they weaponized it. And here's the overlooked truth. This was the first time in professional sports history that organized fans forced a front office leader into complete digital retreat. Not angry tweets, not hashtags, but strategic intelligence, planned timing, and systematic pressure that broke an institution in under 12 hours. This wasn't just one executive's panic. It was the dawn of fan-driven accountability with power once reserved for media and league officials. The Kroskoff retreat wasn't only shameful, it was historic. It proved that fans can coordinate, execute, and win against traditional sports authority. Here's how it unfolded. The Apple comment resurfaced on July 12th, and within hours, key nodes across Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit spread the narrative. The Caitlin Clark account, long known for driving protection campaigns, dropped their nuclear option. Enduring brands embrace their visionaries. Apple became iconic by making Steve both its visionary and its star. That single tweet racked up over 50,000 retweets and became the rallying cry, not of random virality, but of a carefully synchronized operation across multiple platforms. The book citation you just heard comes from Christina Brennan, and it proves the Indiana Fever was completely unprepared for Caitlin Clark's influence. And here's what the competitor videos won't tell you. That unpreparedness left them wide open to a coordinated...
And I will say it again. Stephanie White, Amber Cox, Kelly Kroskoff, the Indiana Fever president, they were not ready. Now, Christine Brennan in her book confirmed. The WNBA and the Indiana Fever did not realize what they were about to get themselves into with drafting Caitlin Clark because the popularity they weren't prepared for and didn't see coming. Stephanie White, every single solitary move that you make is going to be scrutinized. Welcome to it.
Pressure campaign. Because if you're not ready for the phenomenon itself, you're definitely not ready for the fan networks it creates. And Clark's fan networks aren't just passionate, they're organized, strategic, and now proven successful at applying institutional pressure. On Reddit, they were logging locker room concerns and front office dysfunction. On TikTok, they were cataloging every slight against Clark with forensic accuracy. On Twitter, they were building amplification networks to push protective narratives. This wasn't fandom, this was infrastructure. And when Kroskoff's Apple statement went viral in July, that infrastructure activated like a military operation. They didn't just react, they generated the controversy, intensified it, and sustained it until their target surrendered. But here's where it gets even deeper. While Kroskoff was retreating into digital silence, Sophie Cunningham was building what I call martyrdom economics, a model where every WNBA fine actually boosts player market value. Sophie's defense of Caitlin isn't just loyalty, it's strategy. Every fine she takes brings more podcast listeners, more jersey sales, and more influence inside Clark's protective narrative. Think about it. Sophie has been fined over $2,000 by the WNBA in 2025, yet her jersey sold out within 48 hours after defending Clark, generating tens of thousands in revenue. That's martyrdom economics. Every punishment makes her more powerful.
Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
You know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do.
The WNBA has accidentally created a new monetization model where league punishment equals player profit, and fan networks caught on fast. Every fine against Sophie Cunningham became a rallying cry, fueling more support, more jersey sales, and more influence. But here's what nobody's covering. Sophie's podcast isn't just entertainment, it's intelligence gathering. She's exposing internal team dynamics, highlighting referee failures, and calling out organizational flaws, all while building audience loyalty that translates directly into economic leverage against the league. That's not simple frustration, that's strategic messaging designed to intensify public pressure for reform. And the fan networks are listening, learning, and organizing pressure campaigns using the intel she provides. It's a symbiotic relationship, player activism and fan coordination reinforcing each other to create unprecedented institutional pressure. The Krosgoff retreat proved that traditional authority isn't untouchable. Fans have tasted blood, polished their strategies, and shown they can force organizational reactions in less than 12 hours. This isn't fandom, it's infrastructure. Sophie's podcast with 800K followers, Twitter influence nodes, TikTok aggregators, Reddit forums, and YouTube analysis channels now form a fan-controlled media ecosystem that moves faster, hits harder, and sustains pressure longer than ESPN ever could. What's emerging is a massive power shift from league-controlled narratives to fan-driven accountability. The old model, leagues and media controlling the story while fans consumed passively, is collapsing. Now fans generate, amplify, and weaponize narratives with military precision. If they decide an executive is mismanaging their favorite player, they can coordinate pressure campaigns that force action before a board meeting even takes place. And here's what should worry every WNBA franchise. This was only the beta test. Fan networks are evolving, adding economic warfare to their playbook. Boycott threats are circulating, with reports that up to 75% of Fever fans vow to follow Caitlin Clark wherever she goes, canceling ticket purchases the instant she leaves Indianapolis. That's no longer just social pressure. That's economic leverage that can shake revenue, sponsorships, and organizational stability. The parallels to Michael Jordan's early career only amplify the stakes, framing Clark's treatment as historically significant mismanagement. Fan coordination across Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube isn't chaos. It's calculated pressure with proven results. Kelly Krosgoff's exit wasn't fan outrage. It was the execution of a strategy months in the making. And now that strategy is verified, documented, and ready to be replicated across the league. The takeaway is bigger than the fever. This is the first documented case of fan-driven accountability overpowering professional sports authority through digital.
Sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. I mean, we have a
coordination. Other leagues are already watching, because if a WNBA president can be forced offline in hours, no sports executive is safe. The real story isn't Krosgoff's deactivation. It's the rise of fan-managed accountability systems with institutional authority once reserved for journalists and league officials. And here's what happens next. The Cunningham model of strategic martyrdom, where every fine multiplies her brand value, is about to be copied across the league. Players now see that fan power can turn punishment into profit, and that shift is about to transform the economics of professional sports forever. Expect more players to adopt stances that risk fines while building audience loyalty. Expect more fan networks rallying around player protection. And expect more organizational retreats when executives underestimate the coordination power of modern sports fans. The WNBA just saw its first fan-driven institutional coup, and it won't be the last. The question for every team president, GM, and league official is simple: adapt to fan-regulated accountability or become the next Kelly Kroskoff. This isn't just basketball anymore. It's a battle for power, with fan networks capable of coordinating institutional pressure with military precision. Traditional gatekeepers just lost their first major battle, and the revolution is only beginning. Subscribe and ring the bell to stay ahead, because fan networks are already planning their next campaigns. Drop a comment. Do you think this was a coordinated attack or spontaneous fan anger? Which WNBA executive will be next? After Kelly Kroskoff, nobody in professional sports authority is safe. The fans have tasted victory, and traditional power dynamics will never be the same. Welcome to the new era of fan-controlled accountability.